your experience of the attack. It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I know, roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. Y'all made it through the attack though. Your wife, your kids? Yeah, we all made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours. I don't know. We just stopped inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. What happened after that? Well, it was over, you know. When the air cooled down, the reporter nods and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage and the dense a cloud of black, oily smoke, and the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There was a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls. They found out what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I keep telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her, not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolute chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the fire wing. Stay with us for more up-to-date minute reporting on Fierschwind's reign of terror. Green Winter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now. So I'm going to do some digging on Fierschwind instead. Let's see where this goes. The screen abruptly goes black as the video cuts off. A few moments later, you find yourself returned to the menu screen. As I take a drink. Alright. Track 4. The DVD player ramps up to speed, filling the air with a swirl whining sound. Green Winter's image appears on the screen. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1031. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Fierschwing either. He shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information is there, it's just wrong. Somehow it's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this feels just a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting the tingling feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Winter's image disappears. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. The display goes black for a moment, then the face of Green Winters winks onto the screen. He's seated at a computer. Off to his left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. His voice carries an edge of panic. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1109. As he looks even worse. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies and they have been disappearing. Disappearances. Gearbox, Martian, Peregrine, they've all disappeared within the past few weeks. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday. And they were all making the same sort of inquiries about the Firewing that I've been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think it's true. Blitz leans into whispers to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock on them. Not until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment, as if seriously considering the question that he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Iger cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tatorzi told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a Decker named Hellbore posted a theory about Fierschwind to the Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in the meat space and cooked her entire apartment, with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellbore Live posted the event. She described her killer, the great big orc with skin grafts. The guy we met. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iger love. Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence, but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winter pauses. He looks like he's working on to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This has got to be Fierschwind. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive, and she's out of the socks. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead for the first time in 2 decades, and I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtracked all the Matrix nodes about Hellbore. I've backtracked all of the Matrix nodes that Hellbore was looking into, back before she got cooked. Whoever's purging the Matrix didn't think about that, and I found that she's turned up. Winter stabs a few keys on his keyboard, and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of a rural landscape noted with GPS data, a set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging. The Harfield Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And this is where we come in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor to Winter's left. Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for the job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about Flux State security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Amzel's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information I need, and on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet at all that. Until then, Winter's image disappears. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns, with one final track to play. When you play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You're looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel from hotel room at Das Kesselhaus. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1110. There's a blur of motion, and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers in the frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winter reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, it returns, clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up. Slow down. Start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the Cruz Bazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience on site, IC must have been extreme. Even by Berlin standards, security of that kind costs real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to the fire wing is too strong. So, let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here, and the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts, still got my connections, and the Flux State can be a hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces, and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or not, missing deckers or no, I've got a jack in the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes that I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of the glass and tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later, you hear the dull, clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F state, but still, all things considered, Winters fishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappears clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head and screen cuts to static. Okay. But, so he must have survived then. Like this, he obviously didn't die there. It's probably when he went back in the second time. Because if he died there, there's no way that the DVDs would have gotten to his safe. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess that they caught up to me. They will be after you too now. Bliss whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? We didn't know. Not exactly. Not exactly? I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even a part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering him. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Valclair. Not because he's my brother, because if Fierce One is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happened to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, and dozens of others have died. You'll be next, unless you can find Adrian. The screen cuts back to static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. Whew. That was a lot of information. Good information. A lot of information. The room goes quiet as everyone struggles to process what you've just seen on the DVD. Finally, Dietrich breaks the silence. A dragon. Son of a bitch. Green Winter set us up against a dragon. The Firewing. Amsel's voice is thick with dread. She lives. I'm really starting to regret the fact that I didn't just stay at the hotel. Iger ignores him. Wait a second. We don't know for certain. Dietrich lays a hand on Iger's shoulder. The evidence seemed pretty convincing to me, love. I'll even take it a step further. I think that secret facility that we stumbled into was her lair. Told you. The room falls silent. Iger and Glory exchange glances. After a moment, Dietrich continues. Just think about it. The decker that Winters got those coordinates from was posting about Fierschwing. Then she was killed by the same orcish bastard that attacked us after Monica died. As a direct link between the dragon, the sacred orc, scarred orc rather, and the Hartfield Manor. And then Winters was killed by the same thing that killed Monica. Exactly. My gut tells me that the dragon is down there, Cyber Ninja. Someplace far beneath the surface. I think that we knocked on the door to her lair without even knowing it. And I think that given what we've seen, the dragon will do whatever it takes to keep us quiet about it. Okay. Going on the assumption that there is a dragon and that she will come after us, what do you propose that we do about it? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to follow Winter's advice. We're going to find Vauclair. Yes, Simon Ninja's right. Finding Dr. Vauclair should be our priority. If we're going up against a dragon, we need to find ourselves a dragon slayer. Winters spent 20 years searching for Vauclair, and it got him nowhere. How do you propose that we find him? With the help of an information broker. I'll go talk to Altog then. For this, no. While her Burkagazi is very capable, a task of this magnitude is beyond him. We need to make contact with the premier information broker in Berlin. We need to talk to Alice. Blitz scoffs at Amsel. Alice, best of luck, and I hope you're rich. Amsel raises an eyebrow. For this, rich enough, even only just. Who is this Alice? A most prominent figure in Berlin's shadow community, ex-Schockwell-Rentier. She provides information retrieval services for the F-State. Amsel turns to the computer console behind him and runs his finger over a virtual keyboard. The machine begins to hum. If Winters was right, if Vauclair is still alive, she can help us find him. The console spits out a stack of black plastic. Amsel plucks it from this computer and hands it to you. Here, your key to speak with Alice. A cred stick? Amsel nods. An encoded cred stick. Yes, 10,000 neuron. Alice will not show her face for less. This represents the last of my personal savings, Cyber Ninja. Make this meeting count. Where do I need to go? Take the U-Bahn to the Altstadt Spandu. There you'll find a connecting tube that locals refer to as the rabbit hole. You'll find a method of contacting Alex there. Don't call it that in front of her though. Word on the street is that she hates it. Please hurry. While you're out, I will work on acquiring new contracts for the team. Alice is the best there is at what she does, and her services carry a price tag to match. Alrighty. Big yawn, as that was a lot of reading. U-Bahn platform. Dante's still with us? Arcade machine, eh? The only active console in this derelict span of U-Bahn platform is an old video arcade machine. The CTR monitor set inside the machine's cabinet glows invitingly. Cheerful, pixelated graphics roll and dance on the screen. Investigate the machine. At the base of the controller panel, we find a cleverly hidden input port. The port is shrouded in black plastic, and it appears to be the approximate shape of a typical cred stick. Insert Amsel's down payment into the machine. Internal monitors grip the cred stick and pull it into the machine. It disappears into the port and the screen goes black. Moments later, a video image fills the screen. The picture's dark. Let me fix my mic here as my audio was being all funky because I didn't realize. Where was I? Moments later, a video image fills the screen. The picture is dark and grainy. A far cry from the bright, colorful sprites that previously inhabited the display. On the screen is a dimly lit office. The place looks like it was pulled straight from an old detective movie. From the Venetian blinds on the windows to the great swathes of shadow that paint the walls black. Center stage, sitting behind a large mahogany desk, is the silhouette of an impressive-looking woman in a charcoal gray suit. The tip of her cigarette glows cherry red in the shadows. She leans forward into the light, and you catch your first glimpse of Alice. Her face is all hard planes and sculpted angles, with high cheekbones and almond eyes. Her lips are painted a frigid blue, but the look in her eyes is even colder. A head of lustrous black hairs interspersed with flowing streams of cyan light. Alex exhales a plume of smoke, then tips her cigarette into a nearby ashtray. She fixes her eyes on you, and her lips curl into a humorless smile. We're on your dime, friend. Tell me what you're looking for. I need you to find someone for me, Dr. Adrian Fluclair. She raises an eyebrow. The Dragon Slayer. Interesting. He's been missing for a long time. Yes, he has. The question is, can you find him? She looks in your eyes, of course. She looks you in the eye, and the smile disappears. Her voice is all business. If he's out there somewhere, I'll find him for you. He could be living under an assumed name in California Free State, and I'd still track him down. If he's not alive, I'll tell you where you can find his corpse. Alright, I'm satisfied. Let's talk about the job. Alex steeples her fingers. Alright, here's how this is going to work. When you give me the go-ahead, I'm going to start gathering information for you. Once I've finished, you're going to bring me a cred stick encoded with the encryption key that I'll provide you. The cred stick will have 15 urine on it. When I get my cred stick, you get your information. This is the deal. Take it or leave it. Alright, you've got a deal. Okay, but remember, you say you go, and I go. From that point on, you're on the hook to pay me for my fee. No turning back, no refunds. Are we square on this? Yeah, we're square. Good, I'll be in touch. The screen goes black. Moments later, the machine reboots. The colorful sprites that you saw when you first approached the arcade cabinet returns. There's nothing more to see here. Alice is gone. Come on, Dante. Let's go back home. Gonna have to do some like big jobs for that kind of money. Cyber Ninja, did you make contact with Alice? Yes, I did. She accepted your payment and I ordered the search for the information we needed. Very good. I can't imagine that this will be cheap. What was Alice's stated price? You're right on the count, 50,000 yen. He shrugs. It is about as I had expected. Thankfully, we are prepared for this. I've established contact with a number of new clients. You can find information on the jobs logged on your mission computer. One jobs file is on there already. While you're working to earn Alice's fee, I will continue to dig for clues about Fürschwing. If she is, in fact, roosting under the Harfield Manor, then there must be some evidence to support the fact. A dragon is a large thing to hide, after all. Be careful, Paul. Remember what happened to Monica. I will never forget. Don't worry, Cyber Ninja. I'm going to conduct my investigation the old-fashioned way, through contacts and deduction and careful observation. I will not jack into the Matrix until this entire sorry episode is finished. It's probably wise. Speaking of doing things the old-fashioned way, Malit is working to recover information off of those other DVDs. It's a painstaking process and it will not be quick, but she's optimistic that she'll be successful in time. Finally, I've been checking up on our friend, the orc with the skin grafts. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'll keep you appraised as the situation develops. Sounds good, Paul. I'll go check up on those jobs. One last thing before you go, Cyber Ninja. Samuel Beckenbauer wanted me to pass a message to you. Do you know him? The orc who runs the shelter across the way. Yeah, I've met him. Ah, well, he has a job for you. He wouldn't discuss it with me, but he promised that would prove worth your time. I'll keep that in mind. I'll probably go pay him a visit first. Because right now we have 28 yen. So we really need some fucking money. See what this guy wants. Hello again, my friend. What can I do for you? I heard that you wanted to talk about a job. Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you for coming so promptly. Takes a deep breath slowly, releases it, and looks you in the eye. Tell me, what do you know about the Humanist Poly Club? Not a lot. I don't pay much attention to politics. Humanists may call itself a poly club, but its goals are anything but political. The organization's true objective is spread fear and hatred of the metahuman races. Humanists' bloody rhetoric helped to incite the Night of Rage. Night of Rage. A worldwide race that took place in February of 2039. Thousands of innocent metahumans were attacked, beaten, and killed. Women and children were corralled in warehouses for protection and then burned alive when the structures were put to the torch. This is what Humanist stands for. This is the agenda that its leaders strive to advance. They will not be satisfied until all metahumans everywhere are driven from the face of the earth. Disgusting, and this job of yours has something to do with Humanists? He nods. Yesterday I overheard one of my assistants talking on his comm. He was yelling, clearly agitated. I questioned him, and he confided in me. What he told me made my blood run cold. What did he tell you? His brother Tuck works for a smuggling operation based in Shatnas. Apparently those smugglers had accepted a contract from Volker Stahl. Stahl is a vicious ideologue and the leader of the Berlin chapter of Humanists. The cargo that the smugglers are delivering includes a large quantity of extremely hazardous chemical agent. Naturally, this fills me with unease. Whatever Stahl has planned, it can't be good for us. I want you to infiltrate the smuggling operation that is delivering the shipment. Once you arrive at the Humanist compound, you will find out what they're planning to do with the chemical and put a stop to it. Wouldn't it be easier to just hijack the shipment? Why allow it to get to the Humanist compound at all? He shakes his head. No, stopping the shipment would not stop Humanists. They would merely acquire another. For a pack of snarling racists, they are extremely well funded. Let's talk compensation. What does this gig pay? I have contacted sister organizations across Berlin and taken up collection. Between us, we have raised 22,000 yuan as a payment. I trust this will be sufficient. I'll do it. Count me in. He nods. Excellent. I am relieved. I'll make the arrangements for your meeting with the smugglers. The leader is an elf who calls himself Maxim. Take the U-Bahn to Schattenneist and you will find him waiting there. Best of luck to you, Cyber Ninja, and good hunting. Know that you are doing a great thing for the metahumans of Berlin. Your efforts will not go unrecognized. Who is this? It's Dietrich. A lone figure stands at the U-Bahn station. Dietrich. He raises a bottle at your approach and tosses it away. Figured I'd run into you here, boss. Wanted to be sure that I caught you before you headed off. Takes a deep breath, then slowly releases it. Looks you in the eye. Cyber Ninja, we need to have a talk about this Humanist gig. Go ahead, Dietrich. I'm listening. Well, I've got a history with Humanists. I fought them back in 39 during the Night of Rage. Hell of a thing that was. I remember the terror, the senseless violence, the murdered children. I remember this little dwarf boy. They stuffed his body in the gutter, Cyber Ninja. I can still see his face, all bruised and broken to this day. It makes my blood boil. Anyway, long story short, we beat them. Berlin's punks and anarchists all came together, and we stomped the living dreck out of those racist pigs. A lot of good people died that night, but we put down some of the bad ones too. Let me guess, you want to come on the Humanist run so that you can finish the job. That's part of it, sure, but it's not the whole story. I don't just want to come on this run, boss. I have to come. It's my nephew, Alexander. He's signed on with Humanists, driven to it by his worthless sack of a dad, no doubt. I take it that his father, your brother, is a Humanist member too? Nah. They'd take a level of conviction, a quality that he thoroughly lacks. My best guess is that he's treating Humanists as a boarding school. They feed and house their recruits, and that's money that he'd rather spend on himself, so he dumped the boy off on them. Never mind the fact that they're fascist swine. Dietrich looks you in the eye. I've got to get Alexander out of there, Cyber Ninja, before it's too late. Those monsters are experts at warping young minds. It's how their disgusting ideology propagates. So I'm asking you, as a personal favor, to let me come along on the run. I have to get into the compound, Cyber Ninja. I have to find Alexander. I have to turn him around before those animals make him do something unforgivable. Of course, Dietrich, I wouldn't keep you from something like this. Thanks, boss. Never doubted you'd bring me a course. You're too good of a man for that, but it's good to hear all the same. Where would we like to travel? Let's assemble the team and travel to Shadowrun to infiltrate the Humanist Polyclub compound. We actually get to pick this time. Hired runners. In addition to your team, your fixture has access to a small network of mercenaries in the Berlin area. These runners appear below your core team on the runner section screen and can be hired on a mission-to-mission basis. As you complete missions, both your team members and the available mercenaries will periodically gain access to new equipment and abilities. Any new items, spells, weapons, or weapon abilities that a runner gains will automatically be available for use the next time you take them on a mission. Not that I, have money, but... I don't think Blitz... We'll take the core team because I don't really need Blitz. His decking is 4. It's 1 better than mine. But besides that, like, I'm sure we're gonna be fine without him. Everything looks good. Cool. Excuse me. You're about to travel to Shadowrun. Continue? Yes, we will. God damn, there's a lot of reading. My voice is already sore and it's only been like an hour. But did I do a recording? Yeah, I did a recording session earlier today too, so it's the second hour I've put in. False flag. The U-Bahn rattles to a halt at the edge of Krasberg. You're only a few blocks away from Shadowrun, the Kais that Maxim and his smugglers call home. According to Samuel, they should be expecting you. I'm pretty much ready. I can't take this right now because I don't have range combat 4, so... no. Look, boss, I just wanted to thank you for bringing me along on this one. It means a lot. Don't sweat it. Even Shadowrunners have families. He nods. Alexander. He's a good kid, you know. If I'd been there for him, if I hadn't run off to Berlin, left him with his worthless sack of a dad, he'd never have fallen in those humanist pigs in the first place. The expression of Dietrich's face softens, and he claps you on the shoulder. Let's go find my nephew, and let's crack all the humanist skulls we can along the way. The fuckers have it coming in more ways than I can count. I only have 1 point, yeah. The game's like, you have unspent karma. I'm like, 1 point. A matronly woman with a round face and kind eyes greets you. Her apron is caked with what looks like about a year's worth of grease. Guten Tag, what can I get you? It depends on what you have. Well, today we have a soya-based currywurst for 5 dirham or a soup and sandwich combo for 10. Good, simple, stick-to-your-ribs food. Perfect for a cold day like this. I'm good right now, but thank you. The smile on her face is not reflected in her eyes. Good day to you then. Come back at any time. Searching the dead drop, you find a package with the telltale marking of the Shockwall Redder. Okay. Humanists. This is an open request for information on current and past donors to the Humanist Point Club. Identifying information such as home addresses and photographs is preferred. The presence of this hate group and its supporters will no longer be tolerated within our community. We will expose them to the harsh light of truth. The timely delivery of this information will be well rewarded. Freedom, quality information. Shockwall Redder. So we gotta find the Humanist donor list. I think I'm gonna end the video here. I got like 2 minutes anyways, and that saves me from getting into the conversation with this guy. When we come back, which will probably be later today, even though, like I said, a lot of fucking reading. When we come back, we'll continue on. I'll talk to the Kai's gatekeeper here, hopefully get entry in easily. If not, I might have to fight my way in, who knows. And then when we progress in, we're going to go for all this. So we're going to try to find Dietrich's nephew, find the Humanist donor list, and then discover the plot and contact the smugglers. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you I'm getting really tongue-tied. Let me try that again. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and say comment down below. Subscribe, shares will help me out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.